Hey, it's a boy, Sergeant Hooked on Henshins. So, a little bit change up today, a little difference here. I'm going to be doing some Star Wars content again. I know they don't always perform as well as my Toku videos, and that's okay. I'm actually considering a change on the channel, changing the name of the channel to being Sergeant Hooked on Heroes, just because that more encapsulates things as far as heroes in Star Wars, heroes in Digimon, heroes in Marvel, heroes in Toku. Like, it's the main thing. I mean, like, the henshins are a big deal, but there's no henshins in Star Wars. There's no henshins in Marvel, kinda. Digimon, sorta, but I mean, like it's not an overall thing that covers those things. I kind of want to make it Sergeant Hooked on Heroes, but I haven't fully decided. But anyway, that all aside, today I really wanted to talk about one of my favorite games of all time. This will kind of be like a half review slash like love letter and just thoughts and rabbling on about rambling on about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So a lot of people know what this game is, and that's fine if you do. And that, if you don't like this video, that's totally fine. If you don't know what it is, or if you're newer to Star Wars, or you've never heard of it, it was a game way back in like 2002 or something like that, early 2000s, on the Xbox originally, Xbox or Xbox 360. I think it's original Xbox actually. And it's really cool. It's set like thousands of years before Phantom Menace. We're seeing a completely different version of what the Jedi Order looks like, the Sith, all of that. There's a giant war going on. The Sith are actual straight people, like a group on their own planet and everything. And they're on this, like, basically this conquest of the galaxy. You have this Sith there, Darth Malak, who was at one point joined with a guy called Darth Revan, and they were just wiping the floor with wiping the floor with everybody, just completely just wrecking planets and kidnapping people and doing evil things. So it's an RPG. It's from BioWare, and a lot of people know BioWare now with Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Anthem, stuff like that. Jade Empire, a lot of their different games. Like, people know who they are. And at the time, it was one of their big new games they did. It was kind of a gamble, them doing a RPG based on the Star Wars galaxy, but not being set within the confines of the movies. And I believe they got a lot of help from Lucasfilm and LucasArts or whatever to keep right on track with like the lore and how certain things work and whatever. Because a lot of things in KOTOR nowadays are kind of pretty much canon and are things that are respected farther on into the like history of things. There's references being made to certain characters and concepts from these games in certain pieces of media, may they be comics or books or the animated shows or what have you. So it's a really cool concept. You take on the role of like an unnamed like character. You can either be male, female. You can choose to be light side or dark side through your choices of dialogue in the game. And you're on this thing called the Endar Spire, this like big military installation, like satellite thing. And you get awoken, and there's this big attack that's happened. And you go with this guy named Carthonasi, who's another soldier, one of your party members. And you're trying to leave. You escape and get to this place called is it Taurus? Yeah, Taurus. And you find out that you're looking for this Jedi called Bastila, one of the most well-known Jedi within the Jedi Order, has able to do this thing called battle meditation, where she's able to like use the Force to like send out like basically strategic, power and thought to everybody and like make everybody better at like war and stuff like that. She's instrumental to this war effort against the Sith. And so you save her and find out that she thinks that you're Force sensitive. And you go through this journey, you gain these different characters. There's Mission and Zalbar. Mission's a Twi'lek little scout character. Zalbar is a Wookiee. And all these other characters throughout the game you meet, and you eventually get brought to a place called Dantooine. Spoilers for this. And you end up becoming a Jedi. And it's kind of cool because you get to like totally choose like what kind of lightsaber you want. You can have a single lightsaber, a double-bladed, two lightsabers, whatever colors you want them to be. You can upgrade them with different like damages and things they do, damage points and status effects and stuff like that. You have force powers. It's completely an RPG. So there's like a bunch of force powers: healing, force speed, aura, force push, a bunch of things. And it's a really fun game. It's a really well thought out and well developed game with a really cool story and an awesome twist in it. And again, spoilers for a nearly 20 plus year game, but still, it's a really cool game, and the whole shtick of it is you're trying to stop Darth Malak, and you keep hearing these things about Darth Revan. Bastila knew him, but doesn't want to talk about him very much. The Jedi Order knows who he is. They don't really want to talk about him much, and they kind of just tell you to shut up every time you ask about it. And different people on your team just kind of like, they know the legend of him and are kind of like scared of him and everything. Well, a point happens in the game where it's revealed that your character you're playing as is Revan. That at one point he was in a fight between himself and Malik, beat Malik, horribly, disfigured him, and doing so, along with the fight he was in with Bastila and some other things that happened, basically got like traumatized and shocked or whatever, and lost some of his memory. And so Bastila and the rest of the Jedi Order kind of created a new set of memories for him, being thinking that he's just a soldier and whatever, and made him pretty much forget that he was ever Revan. So then that kind of turns the story on its head, because the whole time you've been hearing about this evil, oh my god, Revan, Revan, Revan thing, kind of like, it'd be like in the Star Wars universe, you physically being there and part of everything when they find out Darth Vader is Luke's dad. Like, it's a pretty big revelation to find out, like, essentially Hitler is your dad, you know? And it was a similar thing. And what's cool is that with the gameplay elements in the dialogue and everything, and your actions of being able to either be dark or light side, you can go with it or not. You can either be like, yeah, fuck all of you, I am Darth Revan, and it's time to be evil again. Or I was, and there's a whole scene where you're basically convincing everybody like that you're like innocent, basically saying that like that was me at one point. I did some awful shit. I'm happy about it, but I'm trying to do better. And you can go completely light side and go on with that to the end of the game. And it's really cool the way that they set things up. It's a really interesting game, and I think it's got a lot of really cool concepts to it. It really set things up for games going forward. I mean, from there they did Jade Empire. They did Dragon Age. Like, it set them up, BioWare, for making games, but it also kind of changed the game on like how to make a game cinematic and how to have it have this deep narrative to it with reveals to it while still being a tactical RPG or a action RPG or whatever you want to do. And it was cool that it was set in the Star Wars universe. It feels really awesome to, like, I know not everybody loves Jedi, but for me, I've always really liked the concept of the Jedi and like lightsabers and the Force and all of that. So to be able to be in the shoes of somebody like that and be able to like learn the abilities and make your own lightsaber, whatever color you want it to be, is really, really cool to me. I think it's really awesome. And it's a really well-paced and well-written game. I mean, each character has their, each party member has their own character arcs and missions you can go on with them to kind of continue and further their arcs. The interpersonal relationships are great. You can romance a bunch of the different characters, where it started in BioWare games as far as being able to romance your party members. It's kind of where it began. And it's just a lot of fun. It's got some great humor to it. It's got some really good gameplay to it. I'm not the biggest fan of the swoop bike racing, but that's just neither here nor there, because besides the first part, in the first part of the game, it's completely optional. So, but it's a lot of fun, and it really introduces a lot of really cool concepts. I mean, it's interesting to see that the Sith that we know of in current times are like, the rule of two type. I'm a Darth, and this is a Darth, and that's all there is. In this game, no, there are dark Jedi and like Sith Force users, but there's also ones that aren't. That's just a straight armed, military civilian force, and like race of people, basically. So it's super cool to see things that are like thousands of the years in the past set things up for now. Like, there's things in it that aren't Star Destroyers, but they're reminiscent of Star Destroyers. There's, things about Malik that are reminiscent of Darth Vader, but isn't exactly Darth Vader. And the whole like redemption-y type story thing there, where you can choose to either be evil or good, which canon is that he becomes good, which is fine, and I'm fine with that. I'm always a goody two-shoes in most games anyway, is really cool. It does hone in on a lot of the like elements of Star Wars about like, interpersonal connections, family, your past choices and life choices you've made in your past. How does that define you now? Are you going to stick with that and be the person you were, or be something better or worse? There's a lot of political things in it. There's a lot of questions about like how the Force works and everything. And it's a really, really awesome game. And I know I've talked it up before, or I've talked up before, like people I know. And I know that a lot of people know what KOTOR is. I just kind of want to talk about it and kind of show my love for it in general. We are right now in Star Wars. A lot of the content is more focused on like current-ish day stuff, as far as like just before the sequel trilogy or right around there with the Mandalorian and the Ahsoka show and stuff like that coming. And about the closest we get to anything with KOTOR stuff is what they're doing with the High Republic book series right now, which that's a completely separate video. But KOTOR has always been a really like pivotal game for me, and definitely one of my favorite games of all time. It really showed me what games were capable of, and it was cool to see two of my favorite things, playing an awesome like RPG video game and combining that with something cinematic like Star Wars. And it works really well together. It's just as cinematic in both its cutscenes, its presentation, the story, the characters. everything in it is just as honestly cinematic and awesome as a normal Star Wars movie. I mean, it starts with a crawl. We get a scrolling, crawl across the screen telling you, the setup for the story even. So I really, really enjoy it. I'm not the biggest fan of things they did like the Old Republic and stuff. There's things in that are kind of odd to me. I just not a fan of MMOs at all, really. And especially when they try to tie story into it. If I don't ever feel like paying for certain things, I'm missing out on the story, and I feel like that's a little goofy because, like, yeah, sure, like if you're, it's hard to explain, but like I get that the Old Republic is a complete sidebar. I get the Old Republic is like mostly free to play, but there's parts of it that you can like pay for subscription wise with it, where you can access certain content pieces, and I get that. And like clearly, if I like pay for a game like Elden Ring, like I'm paying for that because I want to play through all of its content, and I know that DLC is DLC, and that's fine. And I'm a big man, and I pay for it, and play the DLC, whatever. But Old Republic, I don't know. I feel like it's a little like disjointed somewhat in its story pieces and how it does things, and doesn't do a lot. Like it kind of like pulls in some things from KOTOR and then kind of does its own thing. So I don't know. Old Republic's kind of a different topic for a different video, but KOTOR is an awesome game. It's available on lots of different places now, lots of different platforms. I know for sure it just released on Switch along with KOTOR 2, which is a separate video. And I know it's clearly available through Steam on PC. It's very easy to run now, clearly, because it's a very old game. I would suggest doing controller, honestly, support with it. Keyboard's fine, but it's been updated at least on Steam to have like 360 pad control support. So I would definitely recommend that if you're going to play it, and just give it a shot. I mean, like, I know I had some bit of spoilers in here, and anytime I said spoilers, just like pause the video and like, scrub ahead so you don't hear the stuff here. But if you haven't played it, or even if you had, I just like go back and like play through it again. I recently played through it, a playthrough of it recently, and it was pretty much almost as magical as playing it the first time. Like I knew some things that were going to happen and blah blah blah, but it was still fun to go through it and like see the characters again and what they had to say to each other, and the story and the combat and stuff like that was really cool. Plus I partially played with the console commands and cheats and stuff, so that was a lot of fun too. But yeah, but let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Have you guys ever played Knights of the Old Republic? Have you ever played the MMO, the Old Republic, the Old Republic, whatever it's called, Star Wars: The Old Republic? Have you never played it? Are you planning on playing it? Like I said, it's available a lot of places. It's on Switch. I don't think it's on PS4 and like Xbox One or anything like that, but I know it's on PC and it's like not that expensive. It's sort of like through Steam or whatever. But let me know in the comments. If you guys played it, your favorite moments, favorite characters. What did your Jedi look like? Were you male, female? Were you light side, dark side? What would you like to be in this universe if you were in the universe of KOTOR or just Star Wars in general? Like, how would you kind of make your character and all of that? Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think about it? But as always, stay hooked on them henchins and them heroes. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.